Hello, my name's Andrea Coleman and I would like to demonstrate to you how to make the Artfelt lily picture kit that's been inspired by Monet. Now I'm going to show you how to make the yellow for the middle of your lily. So you take your yellow fleece, divide it in half, and working with one half we're going to make a small area, pulling the fibres out. I trap it with one hand, pat it down and pull away with the other hand. The most common mistakes people make is try to trap too much in one go. Keep it thin. Then you can just quarter turn your work, and with your other half we can go in the opposite direction. And you can put your silk on top, just pull it apart . You can never control silk, it will do its own thing, but it's got nice qualities that make it vibrant. There, pat it down, and now you're ready to cover it with the warm soapy water. Just sprinkle it on, follow the instructions to make up your soapy water, like that. Then with the thin plastic, place that on top, pat it down, take your time over this. And then put a little bit of soap and water on top, and then I want you to stroke your hand up and down and do it for a minute in one direction, and then you can quarter turn and do another minute, and then another minute and another minute. After 4 minutes it should be ready. After you've done your 4 minutes, take a look at your fibres and see that they've meshed together. You can't easily pull off individual fibres. That means it's done. If it's very loose and soft, then just carry on and do a little bit more, another 2 minutes. Now, to start with the leaves, before you actually start laying your fibres, take a small amount of the olive away and put about 1/3 of your grey green to one side. We're going to use them later. I have laid out my first layer using 1/3 of the grey green, half the olive and a tiny bit of the grass green. And it's all going in a vertical direction. Now I'm going to put the other colours on top for your second layer, going in a horizontal direction. It's good to have one end that's a little lighter than the other end, because later on we can make the small leaves that are in the distance of the lily pads. So starting with the olive, I'm going to go over it, and we're going to mix the colours up a little bit. by laying really thin amounts of all the different greens and letting them mingle with each other, you end up with a lovely, rich, interesting colour palette for later on. You only need to take the smallest amounts, really see through, and place them on. I've added the soap and water and the thin plastic to the green, and now I am rubbing it just like we did with the yellow. You probably have to spend about 8 minutes this time with this piece because it's much bigger than the yellow. So 2 minutes in each direction. Using the pre-felt supplied, the white, the pink and the yellow that you made earlier, and you can cut out the template and then cut your petals. This is the white pre-felt, and under here this is the pink. Follow that guidance, and then using the silk supplied we can put the colours on your petals. This is petal 14, it's a pink one, and there's a petal preparation guide here, so you look for the number 14 and it says pink with white silk. So here's your pink, which is the yarn, and you just pull a bit apart and you can just tear it. You don't want very much, and then just a few pokes, don't over poke it. And we can add a little bit more, like that, and then a little bit of the silk. You'll probably need your scissors with the silk, and then place that on top of your fibres. It's always difficult to control the silk, so don't worry. And don't put too many pokes in this because it will just disappear. And lastly, put your template on top when you've finished. Once you've put all the silks and fibres on the petals, then grab shape number 1 and the yellow and then just secure it with your felting needle a few times. And next we're going to start putting the petals on using the order. So the lowest number is the first petal you will choose. So I've taken petal 3 and I've placed it underneath the white and yellow, and you can use this as a guide. Once you've secured your petal number 3 in place, place number 5 and number 4, now this time on top of the yellow, and then you can poke them in on top here. And if you work your way through the petals using the lowest numbers first, and you can use this as a guide. So the next one would be 6 and 7 and continue on through. So this is petal 6 that I'm going to poke into place with petal 7 on top. I've secured petal 8 in the same way as the others. Petal 9 now has to be secured from underneath like petal 3 was. That's the same for 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So this is the back of your flower, so you can see the big petal 3 on the back, followed by petal 9, 10, 11, 12 through to 13, and all of these are placed on the back. So if I turn it over, you can see that you can still see the yellow, you can see shape number 1 with all these petals poking out from behind. Now you can put flat petal number 15, 16 and 17 in place, and they go over the yellow and over the petals underneath, but only secure the very backs of them. Then we are able to place the shape number 18 just on the top of them and secure that into place. So last of all, when your flowers assemble, you can put a thin piece of plastic just between these petals 15, 16 and 17 on top of these ones, and just a couple of pokes, and this will keep them from felting flat onto your work later on. And now you can put your flower away and we'll use it for you when we've done your background. To make the bud, follow the instructions as we did with the flower, and to make the stalk, take that small amount of olive fleece that you had earlier, roll it in your hands like that, cut off the fluffy ends, will be a bit like that, turn your bud upside down, place the stalk in place, and then using the felting needle give it a few pokes into place.